Thank you very much. Dr. Padmanayani Gadhiraju. Hi, she has been trained in Ayurveda since her childhood, dedicated her life to supporting women's health, fertility, pregnancy, and infant care. She's a highly respected Ayurvedic practitioner and healer with deeply expertise in panchakarma, herbal medicine, and she not only provides treatments but also formulates healing remedies used worldwide. As the clinical administrator at Dr. Raju's Institute of Ayurveda, she carries forward the sacred tradition of natural healing. So thank you very much. A big round of applause. Mirabai Starr. For over 20 years, she has taught philosophy and world religions and guided seekers worldwide in contemplative practice and interspiritual dialogue. She's also an award-winning author and translator of sacred texts, renowned for her work in bridging spiritual traditions. She supports individuals in transforming loss into spiritual awakening. One of her books, it's called Wild Mercy, Living the Fears and Tender Wisdom of Women Mystics, was named one of the best books in 2019. So a big round of applause. She also speaks a little bit Spanish, so that's great for me. And now I think I don't need to introduce Sadhvi, but I will introduce Sadhvi. You know, I was thinking what to say about Sadhvi, and some people don't just teach, you know, they illuminate our path. And today is her birthday. Of our beloved Sadhvi. Yes, we have to celebrate today. And it feels deeply meaningful that we are gathering together to explore the mysticism and the sacred feminine, because I think Sadhvi, she really, really embodies these energies. And she is a real example of transformation, devotion, and surrendering to the divine calling. So thank you very much, Sadhvi. Before we start, I will ask you to take a moment of deep silence and close our eyes to send Sadhvi all our gratitude, our love on her birthday, our best wishes to her for this new year, and may it be filled with light, joy, and divine grace. Thank you very much. Thank you, and happy birthday, Sadhvi, again. Thank you. Happy birthday, yeah, feliz cumple, as we say in Spanish. Okay, I will start. I have very powerful questions, so these great women. I will start with Padma. Padma, you come from a family with a deep root tradition in Ayurveda and also in spirituality. Could you share how the energy of the divine feminine waves into your wellness practice? And also, how do you see the balance of the feminine and masculine energies through pujas, prayers, and other Hindu traditions in connection with well-being. Yeah, let's take like 5-7 minutes per question so we can have later some time for if any of you have questions too. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Jai Gange, Jai Shri Krishna. Today, on the day of Holi, Holi is a tradition of colors. When you think of colors, first thing comes into our mind is Devi Devtas wearing beautiful colors. Color is woman. Vasanta Ritu. This is the Vasanta Ritu, where the colors come from the trees. Flowers fall on the ground, different colors of flowers. So this is an indication that we are inviting the Ritu. Our tradition is so beautiful that we have made this into a tradition that we invite this Vasanta Ritu. Shishira, Vasanta, Grishma. In this, the Vasanta Ritu, Vasanta Navaratri we perform, because this is the seasonal change where our body requires change in our diet and discipline, daily routine. And the next very important Navaratri is the Sharad Ritu, Sharad Navaratri. So here also 9 days of Mother Divine. So these days for Mother Divine is within you. Brahma is the creator. Here, woman is the creator. And the first knowledge a baby gets is also from the mother. So when you are feeling the knowledge of sattva in our baby, in a child, then the sattva spreads all over. And coming to the point of well-being, the first and foremost in the Ayurveda we say, look into your palms when you wake up, because the divine power is within yourself. Karagre vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule tu Gauri. In the beginning of your palms, Lakshmi is there. And Prabhate Karadarshanam. So, in the beginning of your palm, Lakshmi. Lakshmi means not just wealth. It is all kinds of 8 Lakshmis: strength, prosperity, wealth, food. All these 8 Lakshmis are within itself. Ashta Lakshmi Chetana. So when you are looking at your palm, it is not just for wealth. And Kara Madhye Saraswati. In the between of your both, in the middle of your palm, is Saraswati, knowledge. Saraswati, again feminine power. Anybody, male or female. And also Karamule tu Gauri. In the end is Gauri. Gauri is a very, very powerful. Everybody, all human beings have this feminine power in their hands. And we do everything with our hands. We earn money, we do good things with my hands. Sometimes we might do some unknown wrong things with the hand, and we spend money with the hands. So our hands are the powerful tools for us. So in that hands, all these 3 Lakshmis are staying. And when, even in our Ayurveda, when some disease is not being controlled by any of your herbal remedies or any of your treatments, then Daiva Vipashre Chikitsa. you surrender yourself to God for clearing your karmas. Either it is from this janma, this lifetime, or from the previous lifetime. So you have to clear those karmas, then only you will be given the path for overcoming the disease. As you all know, Ayurveda is the only science which teaches about prevention. We will not say, let the disease manifest and then you come to me. We say, do this, then it will prevent your further future things. And through the pulse, we say, maybe you have chances of this. And through the family history, also there are certain chances which we can avoid through the deep cleaning through the Panchakarma and through other Ayurvedic treatments. So first and foremost is this, and woman power. Gauri is the Shakti. She did tapasya for Lord Shiva, and during that time she was sleeping on the ground. She was doing all tough things. Then Narada comes to her and says, Sharira dharmam, Sharira madhyam, Khalu dharma sadhanam. If you protect your body properly, then many dharmas can be performed. Dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Finally, we have to achieve moksha. So to achieve that, your body should be perfect. So for well-being, if you follow Ayurveda and cleanse yourself, Ayurveda and yoga are always together. So yoga teaches about the slow processes of how to exercise. And in Ayurveda, we say the slow process will increase the lifespan. The pranayama, many people do vigorous exercises, go to the gym and do vigorous things, and that increases the breath. It shouldn't be that way. Pranayama in a slow process increases your lifespan. And yoga in the slow postures and proper postures to take time and do that properly will increase the lifespan and the circulation and cleanse the body. So these are all told in Ayurveda, and these are all well connected to make our body stronger to achieve our goals. And one example I will tell you, the Ardhanarishwara Tattva. Masculine and feminine features are present in every body. Shiva has shown that to us. So Parvati is within himself, and she also guides him, because Shiva is very powerful. If he opens his third eye, the entire universe will get destroyed. So Parvati is also inside him, controlling and giving the knowledge of how to be tune with the nature. So during the Samudra Mathana, first all the unnecessary things came, then the Kalpavruksha came, then the nectar came. So as much as we do sadhana, that much of achievement you will get. In the beginning you may not get, but at the end you will finally achieve the nectar. So this is what I would like to say about the feminine power and the divine power, and pujas and prayers always help you. Tony Nader, in his Human Physiology book, he has been weighed with gold with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi because of his research in the Veda and Vedic physiology in your physiology. So there is Ganesha in the very beginning of your brain. And if you see the picture of that, it truly represents and reflects the Ganesha picture. And Ganesha, as how we always pray Ganesha for first thing. For every puja, even if you are doing a Lakshmi puja, first you pray Ganesha, because to remove the obstacles. Same way, when the brain, this is the most important thing where it should not shut down. So the Ganesha is always protecting the brain from bringing any kind of disturbances. So he is always a gatekeeper in front of the brain. if you deeply go deeper into that science, then he always protects the Sushumna Nadi and only takes care of the right things to enter into the brain. When something wrong goes, everything shuts down, then it is said that Ganesha breaks his tooth and again hits that disease, and then everything comes back when it comes back. So this is how Devi Devtas, all the Devi Devtas are shown in that explanation. So how Ganesha protects us. All the Devi Devtas are within ourselves. And love yourself to protect your own body, because the Devi Devtas which you are praying outside is within yourself. There are proofs of that, and every human being have Devi Devtas in them. So first, love yourself. Autoimmune disease is nothing but not loving certain thing. Some people think maybe my heart is not good, maybe my mind is not good. Don't think in that way. Consciousness is the thing which is everything. If your consciousness is good, if you think that you are going to be healthy, you are healthy, already healthy, and you are going to be healthy. Then nothing can destroy, or no disease can come near you. That is the main thing you have to understand.
Thank you very much, Padma. Thank you. Om Gangana Bataye Namaha. Gurmukh. Namaste.
Somebody else, she said. Somebody else.
Somebody else. Okay. Mirabai, your work deeply explores the wisdom of women mystics across different traditions. In your view, what is the unique role of the divine feminine in mystical traditions? And also, how can embracing the path of the women mystics help us embody sacred mysticism in our modern life?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. Wonderful question. Would you ask it again?
Sure. In Spanish or in English? In your view, what is the unique role of the divine feminine in mystical traditions?
Okay. Thank you. So, by mysticism, what we're talking about is a direct experience of the sacred, a direct experience of the heart that's independent of belief systems or preconceived ideas or even practices and prescribed prayers. Mysticism is about becoming one with the one. It's about love. It's about dissolving into love, right? And that exists at the heart of all the world's spiritual traditions. And I feel like what Padma said, the masculine and feminine live in all of us. So when we're speaking about feminine wisdom here today, I hope you all get that we're not talking about fixed gender. We're talking about the existence of these masculine and feminine energies in all of us. And in many ways, we're talking about the sacred marriage between them. However, you might also have noticed that there's been a bit of an imbalance for the last few thousand years in favor of a boy-shaped mystical experience. And so for me, it's very important to reclaim feminine wisdom, yes, across the spiritual traditions. I am a scholar of world religions. I've taught religious studies, but that's really secondary to having practiced them. Many traditions, not many traditions, about 5 of them, including Hinduism. Yeah, okay, good. That counts as many, Sadhvi tells me. And so I have a kind of a deep heart connection with these traditions. And what I notice missing often are these qualities of the feminine, and they're missing for men, for women, for non-binary people who don't find that nectar that they're looking for. That nectar isn't just sweet, however. It's nourishing. It can also be very fiery. And I'm speaking of qualities of, well, let's say the masculine spiritual goal is often transcendence, right? Getting up and out of this world, getting beyond these annoying things like bodies and feelings and emotions. And the feminine is bringing us back home to the sacredness of those realities, of feeling, of embodiment, of community and connection to other human beings. A few other qualities of the feminine, and then I'll pass the mic. It are attributes like ambiguity. The feminine is at home with not knowing and not having to have things have a fixed answer. You keep reading my mind, Sadhviji. Surprise. Everything you've been speaking about this week has been, it's either in one of my books or in my notes, for my talks. We are so aligned. And that's one of the things is we have all of these beautiful practices and philosophies and scriptures, and they're touchstones for us. But if we get stuck on those, we're not likely to have a direct experience of the sacred, known as a mystical experience, an experience of the heart. So being comfortable with mystery and ambiguity and paradox, that's one of the hallmarks of the sacred feminine that we find in all the traditions. I'll stop there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Kia. Okay. Kia. As a long-time practitioner and teacher of yoga, and also you have been coming to India so many times, you have had the opportunity to immerse yourself in this sacred energy of Holi that we are celebrating today. Holi is often seen as a festival of colors, but it also has a deep spiritual meaning. How do you see the essence of the divine feminine reflected in the spirit of Holi? And also, how does the energy waves into your own practice and teachings of yoga? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for your beautiful shares. I love Holi when I come here. My experience of Holi is joy. My experience of Holi is beauty, reflected in the vibrancy of the colors and the beauty of the way that the innocence of being comes out when we're playing with Holi. I see it especially when the Rishi Kumaras are sharing their experience of Holi, and all of a sudden that childlike exuberance comes out and it infects everybody else. So it's the energy of renewal. So that's the way I connect to it. It's the energy of renewal. It's the energy, in essence, of that one creative consciousness that is expressing through each and every one of us. My relationship with the divine feminine didn't take form until my teacher said the words, "Mother, mother, mother, you are my mother. I am your child." When I felt that, I realized what the divine feminine was for me, to come into that relationship with the absolute as an expression of mother, of this creative, joyful, beautiful, auspicious, nurturing energy. And for so many years, being taught to relate to God as male form or outside of myself it was extraordinarily healing to have an experience of Mother as this deep, nurturing, creative force that is within me and reflected in all around me, that is the very essence of the manifestation of consciousness. And that feeling that male and female are not separate in this context. That principle of consciousness, we might think of it as the male principle, is present in every manifestation on this 3D reality called the world that we live in. So everything is an expression of this beautiful, nurturing energy that is the very essence of beauty and joy. And so if that beauty and joy is a reflection of the divine consciousness, then that is within each and every one of us. So my practice, therefore, is to dissolve all the aspects of my being that are not reflective of that, and perhaps put more clearly, at least from my own direct experience, it's to relate to the parts of me that are that divine feminine, to relate to the aspect of me that is pure joy, that is pure beauty, that is the very source of intelligence manifesting itself. To allow a certain level of embodiment of that brings an extraordinary amount of healing and a falling away of that which is not what we focus on, right? What we focus on expands, what we focus on grows. So in my practice, I'm really looking to connect to that Divine Mother Shri. Shri, who is spoken of in the Sri Shukta as this pure manifestation of gold, molten gold, all that's radiant like the sun, or Chandra, all that has the powerful reflective power of the moon, or she who once arrives never leaves. That once we gain this connection with the inner source of knowing and creativity, it's like once you have an awareness of something, you can't not be aware of it anymore, right? When you have an awareness of this Divine Mother presence, this deep nurturing force, you can't forget that. In the Sri Shukta, it describes her arriving on this chariot driven by horses, and elephants are trumpeting her arrival, saying, "Here is Shri." That's like Holi to me. Here we are. Here's the spring coming in its full power. No matter all the complications that we're going through in our human dimension of mind, here's Shri. The flowers are blooming. The leaves are arriving on the trees. The snow is melting, the river's rising, all this heralding in this new era. And we as human beings can remember that what we get caught up in our mind is just a tiny little speck in the great unfolding of life as we know it. So from the simple words of, "Oh, you are my mother, I am your child," for me at least, started to unravel a relationship with divinity, with consciousness, that allowed me to feel my own femininity, but also feel that life's here to nurture me, that life's not against me, life is for me, that there's a benevolent force that is holding us all, and that is looking to keep nurturing us on our path of consciousness. So, something like that, anyway.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Gurmukh, shall I go?
I think so.
Great. Thank you. Gurmukh Kundalini energy is often described as this powerful energy that lives inside of us. So from your perspective, how will this energy impact when we awaken it in our life? And how this energy will connect us with the sacred that resides inside of us?
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mirabai, for your patience. All I can say is I've never been intellectual. So all the questions you're answering me, I can't really answer them. I can only feel them. And because I've been a teacher of Kundalini Yoga for almost 55 years, I'm feeling, and I watch other people have the experience of feeling. But feelings, that sensation, doesn't really have words. So you're asking me something very intellectual that I'm not really able to answer. I say if you have had the experience, then you can know. Jesus said, only as a child shall you know the love. Only as a child shall you inherit the earth. Only as a child shall you find your happiness, your spontaneity, your love. And we are all children. Whoever told you to grow up? I just turned 82 here in beautiful India, and I pray that I always stay as a child, because then you're playful, then you're happy, then you're smiling, then you're hugging. And we were with Anand this morning. He came over for coffee to our apartment, and he says, watch out for holy people who don't smile, they don't laugh, and they don't hug, because I don't think they're holy. You don't have to have a teacher. You don't have to have a path. You don't have to be, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Sikh, I'm a blah, blah, blah. It is shown in your identity that you're a child of God. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, I never even think about that stuff. I'll tell you one story. When I was 26, 55 or so years ago, I met my teacher, and I'd been at an ashram in Tucson, Arizona. Before that, I'd been a true hippie. See, I'm watching you, some of you laugh, because you weren't hippies. If you were a hippie, you wouldn't be laughing. You would understand the depth of our souls in the 60s, the depth of our souls, because you wouldn't be sitting here if there hadn't been us. We led the way. And many, many, many died, and many are still dying. I got the grace to still be in my body. After I'd run around Hawaii and all over Mexico and taken more LSD than maybe all of you put together, because I was hunting. I've got to know God, I've got to know God. I don't want to stay alive unless I know God. When I met my teacher, I thought he was going to do some holy thing on me, raise my Kundalini and do all that stuff. You know what he said? Go out and feed the people. I didn't even know what he was talking about. I didn't know about Seva. What do you mean, go out and feed the people? Go to the stores. I had a big, fat, tire, white bicycle, a girl's bicycle someone had given me. And he says, go get food and come back and cook it. Open the doors at noon and feed the people. So I didn't know, but people gave me food. Stores gave me vegetables and this, that, and then we went back to the ashram. We served over 100 people every day. And I learned what giving, and like Swamiji has said for years, giving is living and living is giving. That's my only suggestion I can give to you, is give. Give, 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 and give more. Because that's why you're here. Whatever gifts Creator has given you, whatever backgrounds and schooling He's given you, take that over onto this side and just say, how can I utilize it to give to this world? And that's the only thing I know, is giving. And from Swamiji's blessings, giving is living, and living is giving. So whether I'm a Shakti or whether I've raised my Kundalini or anything, I don't know. That's God's business, that's not mine.
Thank you. Beautiful. Sadhvi, hi. Today we are also blessed with the energy of the full moon. Holi, her birthday, with so many things happened today. The moon is a symbol of illumination, of transformation, and it's also it has a profound connection with the divine feminine. So in your journey of transformation that you have done, what do you feel that the moon inspires us or connects us with this path of transformation? And what does this full moon represent to you, like in the human and in the spiritual way?
Good, cutest tech support ever. So, first of all, thank you all for the beautiful birthday wishes. As I was sitting here, feeling everyone's love and clapping and stuff, I thought, you know, on a spiritual level, my path is one of recognizing that it's not about me. And this has been something that's been palpably obvious to me my entire spiritual life. I used to think, oh yeah, I'm the one who got straight A's. Oh, I'm the one who did this exam, or I'm the one who did this. And since I came to India almost 30 years ago and have been so blessed to be a channel through which things have happened, it's been so obvious to me that it's happening through me, not from me. And yet, there's no place in which that is more obvious than one's simple birth. I really did not do anything other than get pushed out by my mother. So as I was sitting here listening to the applause and feeling it, I thought, well, how sweet, and also what an interesting and kind of funny world we live in, that how we get applauded for that, which in this case is really the sweat and labor of my mother entirely. I'm sure I screamed and fought my entire way through. And the rest of the time is just the grace of the divine. But as you mentioned, the full moon, for me, that's really the embodiment of this in many ways, and it's something that I share quite frequently actually on full moons, because it's been one of the most important lessons for me. When you look at the moon, it's gorgeous. Full moon is gorgeous. As we were walking up from Aarti last night and you see the full moon over the mountains, I mean, you stop and the breath stops, and if you're alive, you bow in some way, literally, figuratively, in your mind and your heart, to just this presence of the divine, this presence of light. And yet, the moon has no light. The moon is a piece of rock. I was watching a NASA or a National Geographic or Discovery Channel or some documentary on an airplane a few years ago that was talking about how it's now believed that the moon was basically a piece of earth that at some point got knocked off the earth and by magnetic pull is circling the earth, but that is really made up of the same stuff the earth is made up of. She certainly has no light of her own. She is a piece of rock. And yet, that is not to diminish her power, but her power comes not in the production of light, but in the ability to get into alignment between the sun and the earth so that she is able to reflect that light. And for me, it's been such an incredible teacher because I want to bring light. I want to help. I want to serve. I want to be a channel. I want to be an instrument. I mean, that is my personal deepest prayer is let me be used. And I know that this is something that so many of us feel. People who go for yoga teachers training programs, people who get degrees in this and that, certificates in this and that, we're yearning to bring light. We write books, we give speeches, we do videos, we do whatever our mechanism of sharing may be. It is because on some level we are called to bring light to others. And yet, if you're anything like me, there's a palpable and nearly constant experience when you are in the ego mind self of, oh my God, I am so unqualified for this. I don't have that. And you realize from the moon, you don't need to. It's not about you. Get out of your stuff. Get out of your ego. Get out of the story that it is about you in some way. That you've got to generate it, create it, produce it, write it, think it, discover it. Just get in alignment. It's there. The Shakti, the energy, the divine, the light, it's all there. What the moon has done, unlike other random piece of rocks floating through the atmosphere, is managed to get in alignment so that she can reflect that light onto us. And for me, that's been the most powerful teaching, is get in alignment. She doesn't change shape. She's never moonless. There's never, we say moonless night, what we call a new moon or Amavasya. But there's no moonless night. She's always there. She just goes in and out of alignment. And in my life and in the lives of so many I've had the privilege of speaking with and to, we go through periods in our life, and especially women, as we're speaking feminine for a moment here. I think this is true for everyone, but I think it is especially true for women. There is a sense of somehow I am supposed to be productive every moment of every day, every season of the year. And the awareness in nature that trees give fruit sometimes, they have green leaves sometimes, they don't give fruit other times, the leaves fall off other times. And the moon sometimes is full with light and sometimes is a new moon. And we're left to look for the light inside. And so it's that awareness about alignment, it's an awareness about flow, and it's an awareness about recognizing and realizing that don't worry, you don't have to produce it, manifest it, manufacture it, create it. You just have to reflect it. And the only way to reflect it is to get in alignment and to allow it to flow through you. I wanted to just take one more moment to share about something that Gurmukh had said so beautifully about giving and the power of that, because I was raised in a world, I think, like many of us, where we were taught that happiness comes from getting and from thinking about yourself, like, what do I need? What's in it for me?
And I'll never forget, right after I'd come to India, I'd been here maybe, it was just 2 years, and there was a huge earthquake in Chamoli up in the mountains here. And immediately after the earthquake, we were sending trucks full of blankets and food and water and whatnot, and medical supplies to the people. And I then had to go to LA. I had a pre-scheduled trip to LA for some reason. And I remember I arrived, I landed, I got to my parents' house. It was late at night, LA time. And I get there and I call Swamiji to tell him I've landed. It was pre-mobile phone days. And he says, oh, thank God you're there. I need you to type up a list of supplies because these people from Mumbai, these very well-to-do industrialists, have agreed to send truckloads full of supplies to the people up in the mountains. And I need you to just type up this list and fax it over to them. I said, sure, great, my God, what a blessing. And I type it up quickly, and then anybody who is Indian over the age of about 30, or anybody who's been in India or tried to ever send a fax in India at any time, what happens, you would dial the number, and instead of just being hooked up to a fax machine and it would go through like it should, most of the time it would just ring and ring and ring and nobody ever answered. Every once in a while somebody would answer the phone and say hello, and you'd shout, fax stone, fax stone. And maybe they would know what to do, maybe they wouldn't, maybe they'd hang up, maybe you'd have to call back. But it always took a long time to get someone on the other end who understood to push whatever button they needed to on their side so that you could get a fax tone and the fax could actually get transmitted. So as I'm standing over the fax machine in my parents' house, my mom kept coming in and saying, you've got to go to bed, it's late, you're exhausted, you've been traveling, my God. And I kept saying, wait, I've got to get this fax through. And she got more and more upset, so worried about me. And it was, for me, a moment of learning and realization that how, by God's grace, by the grace of the Guru, I had been given this shift from worried about, oh my God, it's 9:30 at night, I'm not in bed yet, I've been traveling, my body must be exhausted, to realizing, oh my God, I've got this amazing opportunity. By standing here for another 15 minutes or so to actually be an instrument of service, and how much more healing and nourishing and nurturing that is. So I wanted to just, yeah, we did eventually get the fax through, of course. And I got a good night's sleep and all was perfect, as it always is. But it was such a moment for me in those early days of this juxtaposition between the world I had come from and the world that I was blessed to occupy. If you permit me, I wanted to just turn to Mirabai for a moment, because one of the things she didn't talk about, and as we've shifted into this, I wanted to just, is your personal experience being so deeply immersed in this Vedic Sanatana Dharma tradition and so many other wisdom traditions. And that concept of the giving, the serving, the seva, the nourishing, and how that connects us, not just in the tradition that so many of us have been blessed to be initiated into, but in so many of the other wisdom traditions, how that is the path to connect with the divine.
Thank you, Sadhvi ji. Thank you for everything. That was just... So can I borrow that whole moon thing? Okay, I'm taking that with me. Oh my gosh, so perfect. It's sort of like Hanumanji, you know. Hanuman thinks he's just a monkey, and that's why he's so powerful, because he's just a monkey. He knows he's just a monkey, and the moon is just a rock. And that's how powerful they're able to be. Thank you, thank you. So here's the thing. Women, especially, female-shaped human beings, have been conditioned to give and give and give until we're just all used up. And you mentioned it, just keep producing and producing. And so I think that as a result, women have often felt left out of the spiritual life because the men get the religious traditions are kind of built around the shape of the masculine experience, and so we have to finish doing our duties, our infinite, never-ending tasks, before we get to sit in meditation or practice the yogic traditions or practices or whatever it may be in any of the spiritual, any of the world's religions or faith traditions. So how do we all, people of all genders, approach seva or service or giving as not an obstacle, but the way itself? And so all of the yogas blend, that karma yoga becomes an expression of our devotion. It is an offering to the divine. It's not like we have to check off our list all the things to do before we get around to being with God. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but the ways that we can all reclaim our ordinary lives as the very ground where the sacred lives, not something that we have to pass through in order to get to what's really spiritual. And so seva is for all of us. I grew up with that understanding, Sanatam Dharma, that some people are kind of oriented toward karma yoga, and others are more devotional and emotional, and others like to use the practices that transform consciousness, and some of us are more intellectually oriented, more yan yogis. But I think the path of the feminine is so inclusive, and each one of these ways, these ways to union, paths to union, are just tributaries that connect us to the same boundless ocean. And so they all get us there. Nothing is off limits as a way to connect with the sacred. And loving service is my favorite.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think this was real food for our souls. So thank you. Thank you. I think we have just a little time to pick some. If you have any questions, maybe we can pick like 2 or 3, and then any of them they can answer. Can you come to the mic, or there we have. We can take 2 together, and then we leave space so they can answer.
Thank you. My heart is pounding as I have this brilliant, I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity to have this brilliant panel. So, deep breath. I was born female. I'm a trans man. I came out about 2 years ago. And I can tell you about how depressed and how much I hated my body and anorexia, and I tried to kill myself, and now I'm in this body on testosterone, and I am so happy. I'm just so happy. I love myself. Thank you. I'm like a kid. I'm like, to your point, playful. I'm a kid. I get to live life like I never thought I'd get this chance. And I named myself Hunter. Hunting. When you said that, yes, I'm hunting for more. And I can't get enough. I just came here accidentally. I'm a runner. I stretch with yoga, but I'm like, oh my, how did I end up here? So my question to you, deep, philosophical, existential, you're supposed to be born, an apple seed comes out of the apple, but I'm a banana that came out of the apple. I don't want to have to put testosterone in my body, but this is my most playful self, and I love this self. Like, I love myself. My question also, I'm from Texas, a trans man in the blowtorch, but I'm supposed to be in Texas because I'm supposed to bring the light. I know. It'd be too easy for me to go to New York or whatever, but I need wisdom on the book. I'm a writer, so the book, I'm a poet. The book I intended come here for love and bring it back to Texas. The book I was gonna intend to write was Transcend Me to the Moon. So the male experience to the moon, but I also crave the nurturing, the female, the home, the community, which I found here. Thank you all. I can't thank you enough. Laying in those healing circles, and it's blown my mind. So my question to you, as I'm shaking, how do I wrap my head around that? I do need that testosterone, that external. I do to feel good. Like I don't, like when a couple nights ago, I Googled detransitioning, and I don't want to because I love this experience. So how do I wrap up my mind about maybe I'm supposed to bring both? That's just be both. Is that it?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shall we take another question and then we leave space for answers? There was another here. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. That was very emotional. I'm also very excited. I follow all of you and you helped me find my path, so thank you. I come from a war zone in the last year and a half, and I've been asking myself all the time, where is divine femininity? Why is our role in bearing our children and sending them to fight? And just why are we so passive like the moon? And maybe you can help me understand it, because it's really a difficult question that I can't answer. And as a Kundalini teacher, I teach Adi Shakti, and I'm like, but where are we? That's my question.
Gurmukh, would you like to start?
Satnam, what's your name? What? And what country? Israel. Our teacher used to say it's not the life that you live, it's the courage that you bring to it. So you've been chosen. Just do it. Become the leader of it. Don't ask how or why. Just commit to do it. Lead your women in Israel. Take them back to source. It can happen.
Such profound questions. We're all being called into our uniqueness at this time. We're all being called to stand up with that courage that Gurmukh is speaking to and doing what's necessary to fulfill the call of our soul. If that means changing the way we're showing up in our gender, we change the way we're showing up. If that means changing where we live, if that means showing up just in any way where we can truly honor the pull that's coming from within, I think we have to do that, don't we? Because we can't wait any longer. We can't wait for somebody else to do it for us. We can't wait for another generation. We have to do it. to me, the process of yoga is to access that deep level of clarity, discernment, courage, strength, to actually follow the call with it from within and take the next necessary action fearlessly, so that we can be that light for ourselves and those around us. It's not just an idea, it just means we got to step into the fire of transformation and leave behind all our ideas of who we are and what we're supposed to do, how society is supposed to look, and just step forwards. And it seems to me like both of you are doing that very courageously. So thank you.
Before sharing my thoughts, I wanted to just give the mic back to Gurmukh for a moment and ask her to respond also to Hunter as well, and then we'll go. The gentleman who mentioned about being trans.
Would our young man please stand up? If all, I think from everyone's clapping, and I think following, everyone should give him big hugs. We have a meditation, I am. That's all you are. I am. It's a meditation like this, I am. It doesn't say I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a trans, nothing. I am. And you are, because you're I am. You are loved by Creator, and I think you're loved deeply by everybody here. So when we're done, I want everyone, like our Zach Bush speaks, 18 seconds to 1 minute. Hug hard, heart to heart. Whole life will change for you and for that person, and if we keep doing it all over the world when we leave here, it's going to change the world. Heart to heart. 18 seconds to 1 minute. Thank you.
So, Hunter, you had spoken about this apple seed from which a banana had arisen, or a banana seed from which an apple had arisen, and I wanted just to clarify that, because I don't want you to feel like you are somehow anything other than that exactly which you should be. The seed of which we speak when we speak about karma and about dharma is not about the body, the shape of it. There's lots of people who, for example, are born with, a hole in their heart. Should they not have the hole patched up because somehow that's interfering with the way they came out of the seed? Should people who are born with a variety of different challenges, sight, hearing, growth, organs, whatever it may be, should we not treat type 1 diabetes because, that's the seed they came out of? I guess they're just meant to be sick forever. It's not what the teaching refers to. The teaching has to do with dharma, and it has to do with your purpose, and it has to do with the idea, for example, of just because you're born into a family of, for example, doctors or engineers, if your dharma is to be a painter or a musician or a poet or a monk or a baseball player or whatever it may be, to have that inner grounding and awareness to know that just because I'm in an orchard of apple trees doesn't mean that I'm actually an apple seed. Here I am growing as a musician or a baseball player or a poet in an orchard of doctors who are telling me thou shalt become a doctor. But anchoring in and knowing my Dharma is that which gives me the courage and the clarity to live that. It does not say in any way, shape, or form, do not do that which makes your physical body in more alignment with your ability to fulfill your Dharma. In the same way that people born in a variety of ways take a variety of different chemicals or have operations or do certain, whatever it may be, to bring their body into the ability for them to fulfill their Dharma. It may be just keeping the body alive. It may be keeping the body healthy. It may be bringing sight or bringing hearing or balancing insulin levels or whatever it is. They're bringing their body into the state it can be in so that they can be the full apple tree. And you've done the exact same thing. We're just substituting testosterone for insulin or a heart operation, whatever it may be. Some changes need to be made in your physical composition to enable you to step fully into your Dharma. So make them. But don't allow your mind to tell you such a big story about them. The identity is fantastic for right now because it's new, and it's important to embody it and embrace it without shame, with courage, with openness. But at some point, your spiritual path is going to be letting go of that story also. What body you were born in, what body you're now in, what chemicals you take, it's irrelevant. Here you are. Here you are. What your genitalia is like, what your chromosomes are like, what chemicals are flooding your bloodstream, of utter irrelevance. Here you are in this moment. Now what? And that becomes the question. And just quickly for our beautiful sister from Israel, it's really important to remember. It's difficult to remember, but it's critical for all of us to remember that just as we have images, beautiful images of the Divine Mother as caring, nourishing, nurturing, as we're speaking about the moon, this, passive in a way, but fully, not really passive, because what she is fully surrendered, but that's a different topic. We also have the Mama Bear. And that is an energy that is embodied in Goddess Durga, Goddess Kali. There are moments in time in which that is the energy that needs to be channeled. Should you have the audacity to even think about messing with Mama Bear's cubs, she's not going to nourish you and nurture you. She's going to step into the fullness of her Mama Bearness and take care of her cubs. We look at what Mother Earth is doing these days. Mother Earth is quite literally, in many cases, rising up in floods, in natural disasters, to do that which is necessary to protect the earth. The fact that it has to be protected from us is a tragic other topic. But as Gurmukh said so beautifully, have that power. That's not unfeminine. It's not unmaternal. There are moments to channel Mama Bear. Not my babies. Not my babies. The beautiful opportunity that we have, though, is to look at what we define as our babies. Right? So I'll let Mirabai talk about the rest of that. Since as it is, she was going to say the same thing anyway, so I'll let her just take it right from there.
Thank you, Sadhvi. So the fierce feminine makes no distinction between my babies and your babies. All babies are ours. And so that is, I know from having spoken with you at dinner last night, the burden you carry in your heart is knowing, as someone who lives in Israel and is a Jew, the suffering of the Palestinian people. And you carry both. And that fierce feminine instinct that is rising in you right now, my love, is the right one to follow, because that fierce feminine energy knows that they're all our babies. So carry that.
In ancient wisdom, it's been said that we've been here 8.4 million lifetimes in different bodies. So we're everything. I just got born into this body this time, but this is just a spot. The last thing I wanted to say is we have 5 sutras or laws, and one of the laws is recognize the other person as you. Recognize the other person as you. And I believe if you can come into that, then you'll know what it's all about.
So again, coming to the view of Ayurveda, woman, as I said, is a creator. Woman, not being a woman, I'm saying, but she is on the top because she is the first guru, she is the first god for a baby, and everybody comes from her. And God chooses few people. Like when you said about, Sadhviji said about giving, only few people have the chance of giving and working. Many people want to work, but they don't find. But if you are given, overloaded with work also, that is through the God. And women have the power of dealing with many things at a time. They have the power of bearing the babies. They have the power of taking the pain. So we take Gayatri mantra. We worship Saraswati for knowledge. We worship all goddesses, Lakshmi. And these are all giving us inspiration. Everybody has that consciousness inside. But we have to fix it. And there is power in us. We can do and perform things. Women has Ritu, Kshetra, Ambu and Bija. Ritu is when a baby has to be born, the proper season, like when we are sowing a seed, if you sow in a summer season, it won't grow properly. Even if you water also, certain seeds need water at a different season. So seasonal description is very, very important. Seasonal choice is very important. So Ritu, which is the proper time to bear, and Kshetra is the land, fertile land which women have, and Ambu is the water around. You say amniotic fluid or whatever, the bodily fluids are there, and Bija is the seed. So Bija is half from male and half from female. So 3/4 and 1/4. More than the 3/4 of the part is within women, which cannot be done by anybody else. So this is how the feminine power is. So this shows that women has more power to correct things and to follow the right path. That's why the knowledge is through Saraswati. The work is through Gauri, Parvati. She is the power of any tough job. And she is the guide to guide us that people are suffering this way, what to do. The mythological stories, Parvati asked Shiva, people are suffering this way, what we should do. Then Shiva gives the answer. So she is a path for all these solutions. So I believe that woman has that power and she is the creator. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you for joining today. Hope you have a great and sacred mystical experience with this talk, and also try to embody all this wisdom and to really connect with this female and mystic energy that we all have. So thank you.
And thank you to Maria for beautiful, beautiful, beautiful
Thank
moderation.
Thank you very much.
And right now, starting in just 10 minutes, we have a very special Holi celebration back up in our yoga garden where the big, beautiful statue of Buddha is underneath the statue of Lord Shiva, where, of course, we come together in unity. We will be dancing to the drums of Shivamani Ji. I think MC Yogi Ji is going to join us as well. It'll be another beautiful experience of fusion, of music, of beats, heartbeats as one, as we play Holi. And then after that, we'll go and have another big group bath in Mother Ganga right after that before lunch.